What's going on, YouTube fam? Welcome back to another episode from Reach from Recovery. I'm your host, Baron, and today I want to visit with y'all real quick about the dangers of reactive abuse. If you clicked on this video, I could bet that you already have somebody on the forefront of your mind that you're thinking of. A toxic individual that's either a partner, family member, co-worker, friend, but this person has a special ability to push your buttons. Like better than average. They know exactly how to get to them. But they do it covertly. They do it covertly and they do it repeatedly, which leads to an explosive outburst, which is that reactive abuse. But there's a danger to it. It's a danger to that plan that they set in motion. Let's dive into it. So essentially, reactive abuse is best like that saying, death by 1,000 paper cuts. But instead of death, they want an extreme reaction from you. And they do that by 1,000 micro abuses. Abuses that sometimes only you pick up on. So essentially, what happens is those little micro abuses, the sarcasm geared against you, the passive aggressiveness, the gossiping, they're running around spreading rumors. These people are doing things day in and day out. They're doing things to make you, to paint you in a negative light, or they're doing things in a fashion that you know you wouldn't agree with. So all these nicks, all these little cuts get you to a point where it just starts festering inside of you. You know you're being disrespected. You know you're being dishonored. And it starts to fester and fester and fester. And eventually it gets to a boiling point. That's right before the reactive abuse. It gets to a point where you tell yourself, if they do one more thing, if it happens one more time, I'm going to teach them not to mess with me. But what also happens at that time is that narcissist, that toxic person, they knew what they was doing the whole time. And they know when you about to pop your top. They know you well enough when you're giving off nonverbal cues. So if you're ready to go off, and all of a sudden you're less talkative, you're more reserved than usual, some of y'all get facial features, little frowns, little smirks that they pick up on. They know that if they do one more thing, it's going to set you off. Some of y'all just don't even worry about the nonverbal. Some of y'all go straight with the verbal. You'll tell them straight to their face, hey, you do this one more time, it's going to be a problem. Y'all know, this would be for my country folks. Y'all remember when you used to put that stick on the shoulder? You knock this stick off and we're going to see what's going to happen. And that narcissist, not being one to fail, not being one to disappoint, they knock the stick off. Watch you go plumb crazy. But they're not watching by themselves. They've made sure they've recruited somebody, or they have some type of means to display that explosive outburst. Now people are looking at you like, well, hold on. Your reaction doesn't match what the narcissist did. They said one sly comment. They knocked the stick off. And you went outright crazy? That's the reaction that narcissist wanted. That's the goal of the reactive abuse. All right, so now we walk that thing out from beginning to end, the reactive abuse. Now you know it was by design. It was by that narcissist, that toxic person's design. See, when they met you, they had an agenda against you. But the thing was, they needed help in their agenda. They needed to recruit you in order to help them. They needed you to have that outburst. They needed to show that to the world. That was a controlled explosion. Now, I want to help further demonstrate this by likening it to something worldly. So the topic I chose to relate it to was a building demolition. So when a city, state, whoever decides to demolish a building, they get a construction crew in there to strategically place explosives on the supportive columns of that building. And when the day comes, they push the button, those explosives go off, destroying the building support, and the building implodes on itself. And if they good enough, it happens so smooth that had you not known about the pending demolition, you wouldn't know if that building collapsed on its own or if it was planned. That's the reactive abuse. Let me break it down for you. In that scenario, we're the building. So we're the building in that scenario. Strong, sturdy, got plenty of years of life left in us. The narcissist is just a passerby. They see the building. They see the aesthetics of that building. The architect did a phenomenal job. And they just hating. They want that building to come down, and they don't want to be held accountable for it. So what the narcissist does is they pass that building every day. Whoever they can get an ear from, they tell them, look, that building right there, that building can't be trusted. That building ain't sturdy. There's something wrong with that building. And the regular person looking at them looks at the building. They look at you like, I don't see anything wrong with you. I don't see anything wrong with the building. I'm just going to keep it moving. So the other person keeps it moving, and the narcissist decides to go in, plant a little explosion on the supportive column. Do a little bit of sarcasm. Do a little bit of passive aggressiveness. Just chip away at some of your integrity, some of your morals. So they keep doing that day in and day out. Keep doing that. Keep talking to a passerby. That building, I don't trust it. It's not structurally sound. Again, the person looks at the building, looks at the narc. I don't know what you're talking about. It looks fine to me. There's a little bit of damage because of what the narc's been doing day in and day out, but it looks fine. They keep on moving. So the narc goes in, does some more damage. Eventually, it gets to the point to where that building is about to crumble. That's the point where you festered over enough and you can't take no more. And when the narc sees that this time, they make sure they gather a crowd. Look what I've been telling you about this building. Watch this. They pick up a rock, throw that rock, and that's enough to make the whole building crumble. And now people are looking like, oh my goodness, you were right. The rock hitting the building shouldn't have had the adverse reaction, the whole thing crumbling down. You must have been right about it. You must have been right about that person. And the narc sitting there, big old grin on their face, knowing they just got away with all those little micro abuses they were doing in and out. But here's the danger of it, is that sometimes in those cases, if they play their cards well enough, they could use that implosion, that explosion, that reactive abuse as ammunition to keep hurting you in the future. Especially if the spectators were family, friends. They now have leverage, slight leverage over how you're viewed. If it was recorded, if it was a severe adverse reaction, they might have slight leverage in the courtroom. Don't get me wrong, the people that are for you, and something like that will not sway them. But there's people out there that are either teetering or they're not for you and they're looking to team up with that narcissist to be against you. And reactive abuse gives them ammunition to come after you. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want this to be a doom and gloom message, so let's go to the bright side of it. If you're watching videos like this, whether it's from me, for another subscriber, or another creator, if you're watching videos like that, you're already on the path to countering that whole thing with reactive abuse. Because when you have that understanding and you know what's going on, here's what happens. You stop letting that narc in the building. You stop letting them in the building. You stop letting them in your mind and your heart in order to do that damage. So the next time that narcissist is insulting, you know that's only a reflection on them and that they have an agenda. You don't absorb and internally intake their negativity. Not only do you not intake it, but now your boundaries are being strengthened. So you'll tell them how you want to be treated. You're ready now and you're positioned now to block all those narcissists and toxic people from getting to your core, from getting you to that meltdown point. So if you got burned in the past, lesson learned. But from this point forward, you're equipped to deal with not only the narcissist you know, but any narcissist, toxic person that crosses your path. All right, well, that's the message I wanted to give today. I thank you for spending the time with me to have this conversation. Until next time, peace.